Hi crafty friends, this is card number 28 in Full Deck Challenge 3. As per usual, I have my postage stamps, which are my constant, and I've kept them this week as a neutral color, and I'm going to keep neutrals as the base of my card. I've collected a whole lot of scraps that I'm going to use for my mini collage. My carryover item from last week is going to be the numbers. I love working with numbers, so I'm going to use them again this week. The prompt for this week was black, so I'm going to use this, which is left over from last week. And the prompt for next week is photo. Using all my neutral pieces of scraps to create my background. Remembering the idea is to always use some kind of mini collage, as this is a practice for collaging and getting comfortable with it. This Full Deck Challenge 3 is a year-long challenge. We're altering a full deck of cards. That's 52 cards, one for each week of the year. I will link the introductory video for this challenge in the description box below, so you can watch that and see what we mean by constant and carryover and mini collage. I've cut all my pieces first, just small strips, and then I'm going to start adding them. I'm going to use Mod Podge to glue mine to my card face, and then I'm also going to put a layer of Mod Podge over the top. I am going to put additional medium on top of this. I'm going to use some inks or paints, so I want to protect it so it doesn't go soggy and tear. And for this card, I'm going to use my postage stamps as part of the background. And then I'm always constantly trying to remember to keep the one corner open to show that it's a playing card. I think I have forgotten a couple of times. I get a bit carried away with all my collaging. And for this card, I may have started remembering and then I did forget going forward on this card. So you'll see how that turned out. I'm happy with that. I'm going to dry it well and then trim off the excess. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to use the black, which is this week's prompt. So I started by cutting out the 27, which is the leftover from the 27 I die cut last week, and tried to see if I could use the entire thing. But then I thought it was a little too large and taking up most of the card, and I didn't feel it was quite working. So I thought to add the numbers, I will use a stencil and some texture paste. I will find a space for that 2 or 7 soon. So just placing my stencil down, and then with a palette knife I'm going to add some texture paste across the stencil. Now this is where I did forget I was using a plain card, and I do go with the texture paste over the bottom right hand corner, covering up most of the suit of the card. But that's okay. I don't think it's the end of the world. I like these texture paste numbers enough not to worry. I've dried my texture paste well, and I'm going to add some ink. I'm going to add black ink. And if you are doing it like I am, I want you to practice to use black and not be afraid of black. A lot of times, and I know also myself, when I first started with mixed media, I was very afraid to use black as I thought it was just too dark, too bold, and it would mess everything up. But it really doesn't, and it enhances and creates great contrast. As you can see here, it's created a beautiful contrast with the white numbers. They're really standing out. And in the bottom right hand corner, for some reason it has absorbed the black ink, and I love the way that 5 has come out. It's really brought this whole card to a different dimension. So do try using black like this. You could also use watercolor or watered down acrylic paint. Don't be afraid of it. The results are really, really good. I've decided to cut the 27 down to just a 7. The other number is just a little too big for this whole card, and I'm going to use that as my focal point. And at this point I realized I had covered up the bottom right hand corner. so that you couldn't see it was a playing card. So I decided to bring in a miniature to bring that playing card feel, and I was determined to make you know that it was a 2 of clubs underneath all of this mixed media. Happy with that, I'm going to stick it all down with clear craft glue. I have folded the mini card in half and put it sort of like a tab on the side of the card. I've also done some stitching with my sewing machine just to add some texture and interest. I really hope you enjoyed this week's card and were inspired to create your own and maybe even join in the full deck challenge. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and then also hit the little bell so you're notified every time I upload new content. Thanks again for watching. Happy creating, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.